Show them you care with back-to-school sugar cookies that say it all. Hi, I'm Leslie with Leslie's Cookies and Treats, and if you love decorating sugar cookies or you want to learn how, you're in the right place. Let's decorate together. So today I'm decorating these adorable apple sugar cookies that are super easy and beginner friendly. And using an edible marker, you can write a note and put it in your child's lunchbox for a nice surprise. All of the supplies you need to make these cookies are in the description, so gather them up and let's decorate. I'm starting by outlining the apple cookie with a white royal icing in about a 15-second consistency. And I'm just going to lift up my piping bag and slowly pull a line with even pressure all the way around the cookie, trying to stay as close to the outside edge as I can. And then I'll go ahead and use the same royal icing to flood that in. And because my royal icing is a 15-second consistency, I can go right up to the edge without worrying that it's going to overflow. But if your icing is not quite a 15-second consistency, leave a little gap between your flood icing and the edge, and you can settle it down with your scribe. So go ahead and flood it all in, and then grab your scribe or your toothpick, and we'll settle this icing down. And sometimes it helps to just stick your toothpick or your scribe right into the cookie and give it a little shake. And then make sure you look for any air bubbles that might be discoloring the surface, and just pop those and settle the icing down again. And then set this cookie aside to dry for about 15 to 20 minutes before I came back in with my brown royal icing, also in a 15-second consistency, and just piped and flooded in the stem, using my scribe once again to settle the icing down and make sure it gets all the way down to the cookie. And then set your apple cookie aside to dry completely. And now I'm using a journaling stencil that I got from a scrapbooking store and edible markers in blue and red. And I'm just going to make notebook paper lines on this cookie. And your icing needs to be completely dry before you do this so that you don't dent your icing or puncture it. And then I'll just turn my journaling scribe the other direction and make a red line going down the left side. And then to finish this cookie off, I just want to outline it with my red royal icing. It's still in a 15-second consistency. And I'm just going to go nice and slow and stay kind of close to the cookie while pulling it away slightly with even pressure and going around the outside edge. You want to watch your line of icing where it's falling and not your piping bag, and that will help you. And then the final step here is to use some stiff green icing, and I'm just going to cut a V in the tip of my piping bag so that I can make some leaves. So you want to flatten the tip of your bag and then just cut a little V in the tip, and then I'm going to grab a paper towel and make some practice leaves. So you want to make sure you're holding your piping bag so that the top and the bottom of the V is at the top and the bottom of the piping bag. And then you're going to touch down, squeeze out a generous amount, and then kind of wiggle your piping bag as you drag it towards yourself to make that point. The more you wiggle your bag as you're dragging it towards you, it's the more little veins you'll have in your leaves. So to do our cookie, we're just going to touch down, squeeze out a generous amount so it's fat at the bottom, and then kind of fat in the middle, and then we'll pull it closer to us and stop squeezing, and then pull it away. And then let's do that again. So we're going to touch down, squeeze out a generous amount of icing at the start so that we have a nice fat base, and then we're going to kind of wiggle our piping bag back and forth as we pull it towards us, decreasing the amount of pressure on the bag as we get towards the end. We'll stop squeezing and pull away. And you can be finished with your cookies right here. They're super cute, just like this. Or you can grab a black edible marker and write a note to your child. It's like a sweet little hug for their lunchbox. This apple cookie would be such a perfect first day surprise. And you'll know that it's more than just a cookie. It's a reminder that you're cheering them on one sweet bite at a time. So let the edible marker dry. You can even dust it with a little cornstarch and wipe it away, and then you can package it up in a cute little package with a bow just like this and stick it in their lunchbox. And just like that, you've started the school year off right, and you're sure to get an A+ for parenting this year. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe.